Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for songs that more casual fans might not know featured members of the Beatles. We're focusing more on their efforts as musicians during recordings, and less on the numbers that the Fab Four wrote and gave away. However, there'll be entries that include both efforts, which you may hear differently with that knowledge.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Sour Milk Sea, Jackie Lomax. It's arguable that the hard rock number Sour Milk Sea was a turning point for George Harrison. Whilst he wrote and produced it, the song is also the first time that Harrison got to give away a Beatles intended track, a role usually reserved for the Lennon-McCartney songwriting duo. Returning to the guitar from his sojourn into sitar composition, and perhaps feeling less musically aligned with his bandmates as before, Harrison turned over the track to Apple artist and former Undertaker's member Jackie Lomax. With the exception of John Lennon, 3 of the Fab Four performed on the record, making this as close to a Beatles track as can be. Given this was 1968, it was, perhaps, a glimpse into the quiet Beatles' near future. Number 9. You Got It, Roy Orbison. Roy Orbison's 1989 hit You Got It is a somewhat bittersweet entry into the musician's legacy.
Anything you want, you got it. Anything you need, you got it.
It would see success around the world as a single and as part of the Mystery Girl album, but he wouldn't get to see those accolades. The American singer-songwriter passed away just weeks prior to its posthumous release, the recording of which had George Harrison contributing acoustic guitar and backing vocals.
Anything you need, anything at all.
For unknown reasons, the fellow travelling Wilburys supergroup member went uncredited for his performance in You Got It, but was listed for his involvement with other songs on the album. Yet, with each note of this song, Harrison is heard, devoting his musicianship to a singer he greatly admired.
Anything at all, you got it, baby.
Number 8. Govinda, the Radha Krishna Temple. George Harrison's interest in Hinduism was already prevalent during his time with the Beatles. By the end of their time together, the guitarist had already incorporated Indian instrumentation and a spiritual influence to his contributions. In a solo effort, he had produced and provided backing for the International Society of Krishna Consciousness's 1969 release of the Hare Krishna Mantra. 1 year later, Harrison put together a rock-themed multi-instrumental backing track for Govinda and invited the devotees back to record vocals and additional music. The lyrics, sang entirely in Sanskrit, are a collection of Govindam prayers over a musical journey that was performed almost entirely by Harrison. The album helped to bring the Hare Krishna movement into public consciousness. Number 7. Sunday Rain, Foo Fighters. If you didn't know it was by the Foos, Sunday Rain could be mistaken for a heavier Beatles song. Yet the 2017 track procured the talent of only one of the Fab Four members, and not with the instrument that made him famous. The late great Taylor Hawkins stepped away from the drums to provide vocals for this one, and gave way to Sir Paul McCartney instead. In 2 attempts, Macca had managed to come up with the percussion that appears on the Concrete and Gold album, and this was despite him not hearing the song or a demo. In fact, he only had Dave Grohl giving an overview with an acoustic guitar. Number 6. Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, Monty Python. Had it not been for the quiet Beatle, then it's unlikely we'd even have this iconic Monty Python film, let alone the soundtrack.
Always look on the light side of life.
Having met Eric Idle at a screening of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a friendship was formed that gave way to Harrison showcasing a sense of humour no one knew he had. Only a few years later, the comedy troupe were having trouble getting funded to make the then controversial Life of Brian, and Harrison put up £3 million just to see the film made.
Always look on the right side of life.
Now an executive producer, he cameoed in the film and produced the final song. It's also rumoured, but not confirmed, that Harrison performs backing vocals too, and given his earlier production of the Lumberjack song, it's not unrealistic.
When you look at it, life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true.
Number 5. Badge. Cream. The collaborations between Eric Clapton and the Beatles, particularly George Harrison, are now legendary. Whilst contractual obligations meant he had to use a false name, a similarly myth-esque L'Angelo Misterioso, Harrison not only co-wrote Badge with the Cream guitarist, but also provided the rhythm guitar for recording too. It was this involvement that also gave the number its name, as Harrison was actually writing the bridge section and Clapton, opposite, misread it upside down. Ringo Starr, whilst drunk, also inadvertently added lyrics as he regaled a story about the swans that they live in the park. Long after both groups disbanded, Clapton and Harrison would frequently contribute to each other's work. Number 4. Fame. David Bowie. With lyrics like Bully for You, Chilly for Me, it's easy to see how David Bowie was channeling his anger at failing management into song. But as, quote, nasty and angry as Bowie considered Fame, in hindsight, there's no denying that it is an iconic song, even if the legendary musician considered it his least favourite Young Americans track. During what was ostensibly supposed to be a jamming session, Bowie discovered a kindred spirit with a similarly disenfranchised John Lennon, who knew their collaboration had to be more than the cover they were making. Whilst fans of either will know that they share writing credits for this funk rock track, Lennon actually provided the guitar and backing vocals throughout. Number 3. Goodbye. Mary Hopkin. By 1969, Beatlemania was coming to an end. As seen with George Harrison, its members were beginning to move towards helping other musicians on their label, and Paul McCartney set his sights on longtime Apple artist Mary Hopkin. He had already produced her number 1 debut single, Those Were the Days, and rushed to capitalise on that success.
Those were the days, my friend.
With Goodbye, Macca quickly created a demo, which Hopkin then adapted for recording. On the release track, McCartney played bass, percussion, added additional acoustic guitar parts, mixed, and again took producer duties.
Goodbye, goodbye, my love, goodbye.
Ironically, the Beatles' Get Back took top spot in the singles charts with Hopkin at number 2. However, Macca omitted it from the Songs Lennon and McCartney Gave Away compilation, allowing it to stand on its own. Number 2. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Elton John. Yes, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is a legendary, oft-covered Beatles track. Yes, it's obvious that they'd be involved as credited songwriters, but Elton John's version, released in 1974, would have the additional virtue of both backing vocals and guitar provided by one Dr. Winston O'Boogie. And yes, that name is ridiculous. It's a pseudonym for John Lennon. In a cross-collaboration, Elton John tickled the ivories on Lennon's Whatever Gets You Through the Night.
Whatever gets you through your life, it's alright.
During the recording of Lennon's only US number 1, a bet was made between the two that whoever's song charted higher, the other would perform it live. It didn't matter, the pair performed both live at the Garden anyway. But in a cruel twist of fate, it would be John Lennon's final public performance. Number 1. We Love You, The Rolling Stones. Throughout 1967, the Rolling Stones were fighting an uphill battle to put together their 6th album, Their Satanic Majesty's Request. Despite nervous breakdowns, resignations, and legal troubles, recording was almost complete, and a bit of fun, to quote Mick Jagger, was much needed. Enter John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who, along with poet Allen Ginsberg, were invited into the studio to listen to their experimental sounds. Upon doing so, they quickly redubbed the backing vocals with their own, as well as adding to Dandelion, although their involvement in the latter was a rumour until 2023. Neither track was included on the album, instead released as a single 1 month later, reaching number 8 in the UK charts, clearly an invitation for the ages. Are there any Beatles contributions that didn't make it here, but feel should be heard? Tell us about them in the comments.
There have been continued allegations that Ruttall Core is going bankrupt.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.